You're about to get an inside look at a vacation rental investment makeover. So if you're an investor looking to do vacation rental investing, this is a must-watch video for you. Come on inside. Introducing this oceanfront condo. It's 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 1,800 square feet, floor-to-ceiling windows in the living, dining, and kitchen area. It's a corner unit, so you can see all the way down the beach. And unique for the state of Florida, this property is so close to the water that when you're here, you feel like you're in the ocean. Before we dive into what I'll be changing in here, would you like to hear the details of this deal? Great, I was going to tell you anyways. So I sold another vacation rental, did a 1031, took the proceeds, and bought this one. The purchase price on this was $535,000. That included the furniture. And the unit just above me here, not a corner unit, just went pending for $660,000. Now it was a little bit more updated than this currently is, but when I get through with what I'm going to do here, this one will be a lot nicer, and it's a corner unit. So I think if I did sell it, it would sell for about $700,000. So I could make over $100,000 if I flip this. But I have no intention of flipping this. This is going to make its permanent home in my portfolio. So why did I sell the previous property to buy this one? Well, this is a very important lesson, and I want you to listen up. There's been a lot of changes in the vacation rental industry. It's come because of its popularity. There are more people staying in vacation rentals than most people would have ever imagined just a few years ago. And all those new people have ushered in not only good folks, but some bad seeds as well. And those bad seeds have caused some problems, especially in the lower end price points of vacation rental investing. First, we have the issue of big parties. Big parties not only cause issues with the neighbors, but the neighbors call the local officials. The local officials pass new laws to restrict vacation rentals, and in some cases, you end up losing it altogether. Some of those parties have become crime scenes, unfortunately. In some instances, the pornography industry has begun using vacation rentals as their studio. And I've got news for you. Guests, they don't read or follow your house rules. Then you also have the issue of blackmail that some of these guests are doing to property owners, where they're telling them that if they don't give them a partial or full refund, they'll post a 1-star review. And unlike a hotel where they have hundreds of units and they can comp that one obnoxious guest, as a property owner of a vacation rental, you only have a limited number of nights per year. And some of those nights are more popular than others. And so you can't afford to be comping all of these people that are blackmailing you. And so a lot of times property owners capitulate, and that's very costly. Then there's the problem of the fact that unlike hotels, vacation rentals have pots, pans, utensils, and so many other furnishings. And sometimes those are stolen. Sometimes those are damaged. Then you have the wear and tear on the property. And the more guests you have, the more wear and tear you can have. And the more wear and tear you have, unfortunately, it creates a downward spiral. And that downward spiral becomes a problem that is very difficult to fix, because if you're doing your investment correctly, it means that you're booked week after week after week. And so you don't have time to go back in and do a major remodel to fix some of the major wear and tear items that have occurred. You got to do it right from the first. So how do you overcome all of these new problems that are being exacerbated by all the new guests that are checking into vacation rentals? Well, what I'm about to share with you is probably going to offend a few people. They're going to call it stereotypical. But when you're in business, you learn lessons. And you have to make judgments about people and about the decisions you're making. And here's what I've learned. The higher the price per night, per bedroom that you can charge, on the whole, the better the guests. I'll say that again. The higher the price per bedroom, per night, the better the guests. If you've done the right remodel, the right makeover, then they're going to treat your property very well, because they're used to treating their own things very well. And what we've discovered is people that pay more per night are less likely to do the blackmail routine because they have the money to vacation. and they're not trying to skimp and save pennies. So having a higher priced guest per night can solve many of the problems I just described, and that's why I sold my previous property for this one. Previous property was cash flowing well, but it was $50 to $60 per night per bedroom, whereas this one could be $120 to $130 a night, if not more, depending on the time of year. So I did a makeover already in taking that one and selling that and buying this new one. But what I'm now going to share with you is the makeover I'm going to do on this property. And the reason why is because if I'm going to play with the big boys and charge more per night, then I've got to back it up with a really nice property with really nice furnishings. The higher priced guests demand it, and so that's what you have to do. So this is what we're going to do to this property to cater to those higher paying guests. First, I'm going to improve the view by either replacing the panes or outright replacing the windows that have broken seals and now have condensation. No matter how much Windex you use, that's not going away because that is on the inside of these two panes. And in this unit, the view is everything. So we have to make sure that the view is perfect. We're going to completely replace the tile. It is great that we already have tile here, but this is such a dated look. And then here in the hallway, there's actually this change in the pattern for a couple of feet, and then it goes back to this pinkish look. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with a wood look tile throughout. Now that might surprise you because in other videos I've talked about the benefits of luxury vinyl plank. And for the most part I'm still a huge fan, although as I get right on the water I have found that sometimes I have an issue with buckling. We're going to remove the popcorn ceiling that exists in certain rooms, and then actually in this big open area we're going to put a barn board finish on top of this ceiling. As you can probably imagine, new paint throughout. So we're going to also replace most of the light fixtures in this unit because many of them look older, they make the place feel dated. And here's what happens. If you allow a property to look or feel dated, it's a lot more difficult for you to convince that really picky, higher end guest. And also, it doesn't match the beauty of this unit if you have older ceiling fans. This kitchen is going to get a complete overhaul. First, we're going to replace the countertops, as you can probably imagine. We're going to go with quartz. We're also going to do a cast iron sink with white. We'll go with a new faucet. We're also going to put a backsplash along the back here. We're going to replace all of these appliances with stainless steel appliances. But most importantly, we're going to replace the cabinets. These are made of particle board and laminate from back when this property was first developed in the 1990s. And not only does it look and feel cheap, but it's also very difficult to paint over where that paint is really going to stick and look good. We also are going to try to put some recessed lighting up here on top of the bar. We'll see how that goes because there is a HVAC duct running in there. Here in the master bathroom, the first thing we're going to do is completely change out this vanity and the sink and the countertop. We're going to replace the mirror here. We're going to replace the light fixture as well. And just like every one of the other rooms, we're obviously going to put new paint. We're going to use the same wood look tile in here as we do with the rest of the property. We're also going to replace these towel holders. We're going to try to paint over this old school gold with a brushed nickel color. There's a special paint that should be able to work here. It's worth a shot. We'll see how it goes. Speaking of worth a shot, we're also going to try to paint these off-color tiles. There's a special paint as well that works on this, so long as the tile is not something you stand on. And you can't forget replacing the shower heads. Guests love luxury shower heads. They're so inexpensive and they make a huge impact. Here in the second bathroom, we're going to do the same thing as in the master. Replace this vanity, replace the countertop, replace the mirror, replace the light fixture. But also in here we have this ugly old school gold, and we're again going to try to paint the gold. We'll see how it goes. And again here has this off-color tile. We're going to try to paint that as well. Again, it's an experiment. We'll see how it goes. We think it's going to work well on the tile. I'm a little more suspect on how it's going to work painting this gold, but we'll see. Third bathroom, same as the first two. This one's terribly ugly. Replacing the vanity, replacing those items that I shared, and the same thing with the shower, where you've got the gold and you've got the tile that needs to be painted. In the bedrooms, new floors, new paint, new light fixtures. But in this particular bedroom, there's just one bed. And we think by rearranging and by ordering special size beds, we can get 2 beds in here, which is going to increase occupancy. Guests really care about the washer and dryer functionality, so go as nice as you can in here. Even though these look really nice, we're going to replace them. We're going to go with front loading. We're going to go with the nicest, top of the line washer and dryer. And when it comes to the water heater, this thing was built back in the Reagan administration, and it's still running strong. So I'm actually going to leave this here, because look at this bad boy. They don't make them like they used to. And here on the porch, there's not much to add. So about all we're going to do is change the furniture out here. We're also going to do a complete furniture makeover. Furniture is incredibly important to certain guests. And those guests, in my experiences, are the biggest decision makers. They're females. I know that might offend you, but it's the truth. They're the ones looking at the pictures, making the final decisions on where their family or where their party is going to stay. And you've got to have great furniture to make sure you win over that group. And then once they get here, once they get to your vacation rental, the furniture matters deeply, because that's where they're sitting, that's where they're eating, that's where they're spending their time. Do you want to see my vacation rental investment makeover? Well, let's do this. Welcome to the completely remodeled Ocean Bliss. New wood-like tile floors. Of course, new paint throughout. Removed the popcorn ceilings and replaced with textured ceilings. And in this room, we used a barn board to finish the ceiling. These ceilings came out so good. All my wife, she gets all the credit here. She had envisioned this from the moment she walked in. And that brings us out here to the grand living room, dining room, and these floor to ceiling windows. Brand new windows. These were so important to this makeover because the old ones were foggy, and now you have a crystal clear look at this absolutely spectacular ocean view. Because you want to give your guests the best experience they possibly can get. And so the way you arrange your furniture plays a role in that. We made a fundamental shift here where we put the couch along this wall, whereas before this is where the television was. We looked at the fact that the view is everything in this room. And so we moved the TV here. You get a chance to see the TV while seeing the ocean. For us, this wall was all about simplicity. We did not want to block almost any of it because it was a complete mirror of this gorgeous view. And we always include the gospel in all of our units. In fact, my father is a part of the Gideon, so we put Gideon Bibles in the drawers next to the beds, like the hotels used to do. Vacation rentals that we do are all about bringing people together. So a dining room table needs to be large. It needs to accommodate a good-sized family so they can all come together, because that's what their vacation is about. It's about them being together as a family. We did a complete overhaul in this kitchen. The countertops, I was pretty surprised. We actually were able to get $55 a square foot. This was low-end quartz, and it was Home Depot of all places, and that was installed. We had the cast iron sink, as we had mentioned we were going to do. We replaced the cabinets, and these cabinets here were custom designed, although they had some standardized sizing, and it ended up being very reasonable at only $6,000. We replaced the appliances. Remember that with a vacation rental, if an appliance goes down during the middle of someone's stay, it can be difficult to replace it quickly and a lot more expensive. So if you're in the midst of a remodel like this, you may want to strongly consider replacing the appliances, even if they're already functioning. Now you also see that not just the basic appliances, but we have things like a blender here. We have things like a Keurig. We feel that adding those items also enhances the guest experience because they feel like we have everything stocked in the kitchen. We try to make this kitchen feel like home. And our kitchens are one of the places where we spend the most energy when we are doing a vacation rental investment makeover. So when in doubt, do a little more in the kitchen. Funny tidbit, the very first vacation rental we did, I was actually excited that my wife was doing all of the interior design because it required her to shop for materials. And it's no secret, and I knew this when I was first dating her, she likes to shop. So I saw this as an opportunity for her to satiate her need to shop, whereby I'm still making money. Oh, don't worry, gentlemen, my wife never watches these videos. So it's not like I'm going to get in the doghouse for having shared that with you. And this is the master, where we put in a California king. I don't know why my wife insists on so many pillows, but apparently the female guests love them. We did something else interesting in this room. We had so much space, we were able to add a desk. This does matter because people do take their work on vacation these days, unfortunately. We had so much room, my wife went a little sitting area here. We also chose these fixtures not only because of the way they looked, but from a functionality perspective. There's receptacles here along with USB hookups so that people can charge their phones, because that is something that everybody's doing on the edge of their beds. And we go with big TVs. TVs are relatively inexpensive these days. And the bigger, the better, especially in a master bedroom. So don't be afraid to go bigger on televisions because the cost is relatively the same and it's a big impact for the guest. So we replaced the vanity. These are not the towels the guests get to use. This is just for the video, this is for pictures. We actually put all white, just like hotels, right? So you can bleach out any of the imperfections. You don't want to have towels like this because it's hard to bleach them because of the different colors that are also in. Painting the gold did not work. Brand new here, but boy does it make a difference because not only does it look better, but it actually functions better. This is nice and smooth. Same color scheme as the other bathrooms, the tile. And also we replace the shower head, but oftentimes when you replace the shower head, you also have to replace what's on the handle. We actually changed the toilets too, because they were older and they had that older look and shape to them. And they're actually quite inexpensive, so replacing toilets is not a big deal. We were able to get the beds in here the way we wanted so that we can increase the capacity, but there still is plenty of room to navigate. And this would be the boys' room with the blues and the fish. You might be surprised that we actually spend a little bit extra to have the old school cable boxes in every single room. We do that because the majority of the cost of a cable account is for the internet, and we go with a really high-speed internet, and so adding a couple of boxes is relatively inexpensive. Brand new vanity. We also chose one where we could fit some more towels. Always think that's important. You have to have plenty of room to store towels. Brand new toilet, and then we completely redid this entire shower area. Made a really big difference by doing so. Redid the floor as well. We didn't actually have to do that. And replace the shower head. So this is the third bedroom, and we were also able to get the two beds just like we wanted to increase occupancy. My wife went for the girls' room here, kind of a mermaid theme. And as some of you might be cringing, I'm actually specifying between a boy and a girl. I know that's a pretty hot topic right now. And I tell my employees all the time, I say, look, if I haven't offended you yet, please be patient. I'll get to you next. Does this look any different? Well, let me tell you the story. So my wife ordered the vanity. I gave her the correct measurements, and she ordered a vanity that was too long. It's because she liked this one and it was on sale. So when it comes in, the contractors let me know, Phil, this is not fitting. And it was because there was a wall right here. And I said, well, if you take out the wall, will it fit? And it did. And what happened was, with the wall gone, it just opened up this bathroom. So it turned out to be really good situation. But for a moment there, my wife and I were in quite an argument because I gave her the right measurement and she ordered the wrong one. But boy, does this look great. And so real quick, you may notice this down here. We always try to make it as family friendly as possible. And if you've got kids, kids really appreciate something like this. So we ended up replacing all of this. We replaced the toilet. We also did not like the way the tile looked once we had remodeled everything. So we had our contractors come back in real quick at the end and replace the tile in here. And real quick story about the tile. My wife ordered the tile online. It looked different online than in person. And so when I showed up, the contractors were already about halfway done with this wall. And I started hyperventilating. I said, sweetie, I don't think this was the color that you imagined. And it wasn't, but it actually has turned out really well. So quick tip, don't ever order tile online. Go look at it first. My wife was in a hurry. And as promised, really nice washer and dryer. This goes a long way. Not only does this handle large loads, but also guests love it when they know they're operating a really reliable, really nice laundry system. And also as promised, I left the oldie but goodie here. This stayed right here. Don't forget that every vacation rental unit needs an owner's closet. That's what this is right here. It's got its own separate keypad for the cleaners so the guests can't come in. And this is where you keep all your goodies. Obviously, it's going to be cleaning supplies. It's going to be your shampoos, your soaps, your conditioners. So no matter what, every vacation rental unit needs to have an owner's closet. All we did out here was change furniture. Now, it is important to have rockers on a place like this because people like to rock. So if you're in the mountains, get rocking chairs as well. We do have a table with chairs so people can eat out here. I am a huge believer in the dangers of air quality. And there is a huge problem in Florida whereby air conditioning systems attract mold because of the moisture, and then people breathe in sick air. So I spend the extra money. The best system you can use is an APCO X air treatment system. It's actually two things in one. So you have here in the, when it's coming out of the fan of the airflow, you have an ionizer. And then inside the coil, you've got a UV light. And so that kills anything that could be growing on the coil, which is typically where the mold grows. And this releases the ions into the air to keep the air clean. So you may not go to that extreme, but I care about my guests' air quality. And in Florida, and actually it's the same in other areas where there's humidity, I think it's worth, in this case, $1,000 extra to spend to make sure that your guest's air is as clean as it can be. And then along came COVID, and it turns out this kills viruses. So I'm able to now add to my listings, I have an air treatment system that kills viruses coming through the air conditioning system. And that's actually helped me get a few bookings. But I did this even before COVID because I know just how serious bad air can be for people. This is another secret to our vacation rental operation. We put pictures of our family. We try to make it feel like it is our vacation rental home. This allows not only us to make this feel more homey, but the guests are less likely to trash the place because they feel like it's someone's home. There's people behind it. And I personally think my kids look pretty cute, so it does look pretty well on the wall. Every vacation rental unit you have needs to have some version of a Ring Cam or other video Wi-Fi enabled tool because you need to know who's going in and out of your property. Now in this particular property's case, we couldn't put one like we normally do on the side of the door. We had to go with the new peephole version they have. But it still works, and it is critical that you know if they're bringing in extra guests, extra pets. This right here, this catches them. So this is actually battery powered, which is not ideal, but it still works. So we just have our cleaning company, when they check in to clean during a turn, what they do is they take out the battery, they charge it while they're cleaning, and before they leave, they pop it back in, and voila, That stays charged, and we continue to get that ring cam functioning the way it's supposed to. We have discovered the best setup for the front door and any other back doors would be this right here. You have a dummy handle down below so it never locks. The only way to lock is the deadbolt. And this deadbolt is not Wi-Fi enabled. It's a flange, but we found this is the most reliable, this works the longest, and the guest knows when it's locked because they can feel it. One of the dangers is if they leave your unit and they leave it unlocked. Now this is a little different here in this condo community because it's already locked to even get in here. But in a lot of cases, you've got to make sure that the property stays locked when they leave for the day. And if you use this setup, they're most likely to lock it. I also use an Eero mesh Wi-Fi network so that the Wi-Fi within the unit is extremely good, but also I have control. I have an app that I can control the network. This also allows that every television is able to be a smart TV and there's no problems with internet connectivity. Let's talk numbers. So my rehab crew paid them $20,000 in labor. The materials were $30,000. I know these are round numbers, but they're actually pretty close to that. Now the cabinets were a separate contractor and that was $6,000. And there's a separate contractor for the countertops and that was a little over $2,000. Then we had the glass. Now the glass would have been $7,500, but then I replaced all the glass in the showers and that was another $2,500. And then we have the furnishings, which was $27,000. So when you add all that up, this ended up being right at $100,000 in total renovations and furnishings, or what we would call makeover costs. And as for return on investment, recall that I paid $535,000 and put 25% down. So that's a down payment of $134,000. Now this was listed and I'm an agent, so the 3% that would go to me as the buyer's agent went to all my closing costs, loan origination fees. So I was right at $134,000 on the purchase. Then we have $100,000 in remodeling and furnishing. So $234,000 is my cash out of pocket investment. So my return on investment, the way I look at it, is a cash on cash return. And I think that all day long, this is going to net cash flow after debt service, after maintenance, after management, after reserves, all day long, $50,000 a year. And it could be quite a bit more than that because the market has been so good for vacation rentals over the past 6 months. So 50 into 234, it's a little bit over 20% cash on cash return. That's the minimum I'll ever look at, but it gets a lot better. So stick with me. Now, this property I originally thought would be a $700,000 property once fully remodeled, and I was way off. Turns out, in the few months that I was messing with this project, properties were flying off the shelf. There's no inventory now, and anything comparable, there's nothing under a list price of $1 million. Now they haven't sold yet, but there's nothing under a list price of $1 million. So I think much more conservatively, I'm looking at a $900,000 property right here. So what that means for me is within about 9 months, I'm going to be able to do a cash out refinance and basically pull out all of the money I invested, both in my down payment and in my remodel, or very close to it. And so what's going to happen is I can get 100% return on investment. Now, will that lower my cash flow? Yes. But still, I'm going to be cash flowing very well here, several thousand per month, and I'm also going to have a over 100% cash on cash return. Welcome to the world of being a really productive real estate investor. So how would you like to do deals like this? Well, that's exactly what I teach my people in my apprentice program how to do. From start to finish, I teach you not only how to generate the cash to do $234,000 renovation and down payment projects, but also how to do these kind of projects in a way where you can build wealth for the rest of your life. You can have cash flow coming in whether or not you're working every day. These deals still exist in today's marketplace. I'm sitting in one right now showing you exactly what I did and how I did it, and you can do it too. But you got to learn exactly how to find them, how to structure them, and know how to do these deals inside and out. And that's what a mentor teaches you. That's what my team and I can teach you how to do. And so I encourage you to apply to my apprentice program, where my team and I
We will take you step by step from where you are now to becoming a vacation rental investor that owns trophy properties that cash flow incredibly well and give you that financial freedom. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have questions about this remodel, questions about any of the details, please post them in the comments down below. And if I don't know the answer, my wife may know and I'll get her thoughts on it. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.